One unelected body shouldn't have this much control over our lives. SCOTUS justices serve for life. A few people can overturn laws supported by millions. And this Republican-leaning SCOTUS has made decisions that have gutted voting rights, reproductive rights, and environmental protections. Again, one unelected body should not have unchecked power over your rights, your voice, or your future. Hello, everyone. Hola, mi gente. My name is Jeanette, and welcome to When the Shift Hits. In today's episode, we're going to dive into the growing ethical crisis at the U.S. Supreme Court. With lifetime appointments and no binding code of accountability, multiple justices have accepted lavish and undisclosed gifts from wealthy donors, while ruling on cases that directly benefit those same individuals. This is called corruption. The Supreme Court has faced a myriad ethics concerns in recent years after ProPublica reported that Clarence Thomas and other justices accepted vacations and luxury gifts from GOP megadonors for decades without disclosure to the court. The court adopted last year an ethics code amid outrage over these scandals. But guess what? There aren't consequences written into the code. In other words, there's self-policing. Justice Clarence Thomas has accepted numerous undisclosed gifts from billionaire Harlan, including luxury vacations, private jet flights, and yacht trips. These gifts, valued in the millions, were not reported as required by law. So again, this is an administration of lawlessness, and the Supreme Court, especially the Republican-leaning ones, are most definitely engaging in lawlessness despite being the body of government that's supposed to uphold the law. So despite Crow's affiliations with organizations that had interest before the court, guess what? Clarence Thomas did not recuse himself from related cases. Furthermore, although his wife, Ginny Thomas, was allegedly involved in the planning and execution of the Jan 6 attack on the Capitol, Thomas refused to recuse himself from cases dealing with Jan 6 defendants. Again, lawlessness. Justice Samuel Alito faced scrutiny for not disclosing a luxury fishing trip to Alaska funded by billionaire Paul Singer. Singer's hedge fund had cases before the Supreme Court, yet Alito did not recuse himself. Alito defended his actions by claiming that the trip fell under the personal hospitality category, a justification that has been criticized by ethics experts. In January 2021, an upside-down American flag, a symbol associated with the Stop the Steal movement disputing the 2020 election results, was displayed outside the Virginia home of Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito. Justice Alito stated that his wife, Martha Ann, was solely responsible for flying the flag. So number one, zero accountability. Second, passing the buck to his wife. Also, in the summer of 2023, an Appeal to Heaven flag, another symbol adopted by some far-right groups, was flown at the Alito's vacation home in New Jersey. Justice Alito again attributed the display to his wife, asserting that he was unaware of the flag's associations. Now, I don't know if they think we're stupid or I don't know what to think, because these explanations defy logic. These incidents have led to calls from lawmakers and ethics experts for Justice Alito to recuse himself from cases that are related to the January 6 Capitol attack, arguing that the flag that he displayed could cast doubt on his impartiality. Justice Alito has declined to recuse himself, stating that his wife's actions do not reflect his judicial responsibilities or decision-making. Interesting. Now, Justice Neil Gorsuch, in 2017, Justice Gorsuch sold a property that he had on the market for quite some time, and it wasn't moving. But he sold it to the CEO of a prominent law firm with business before the court. And what a coinkydinky, this person bought his property at above asking price. Not only did he not disclose the buyer's identity, leading to questions about potential conflicts of interest, he also refused to recuse himself from cases dealing with this law firm. These instances highlight the need for a binding and enforceable code of ethics for the Supreme Court to maintain public trust and to ensure impartiality in the judiciary. I know I've told you a lot that you probably already knew, or maybe you didn't. and it's infuriating. But here's the silver lining. Just like they have made a mockery of our judicial system, they can course correct and reverse themselves on some of these issues. And I truly hope this happens soon, especially with regard to the immunity that they granted to the current president. This ruling is the epitome of sanctioned corruption, and it needs to be revised and revoked. Remember, justices can invalidate laws or executive actions that violate the Constitution, establishing a check on the power of the legislative and executive branches. Today's call to action is to write a letter to the Supreme Court justices. I have seen several content creators across many different platforms that have been advocating for sending letters directly to the justices. And I don't know who had the original idea. If you do, please name the person in the comments so that I can give them proper credit, okay? But what's important here is I think this is a really brilliant idea because I don't believe the justices are used to hearing directly from we, the people. So I have drafted the following letter, which I will link the Word document in the comments so you can download it and edit your name and contact information. My letter is focused on only two subjects. One, the return of Abrego Garcia, and two, the reversal of the presidential immunity ruling. If you have other subjects, feel free to add them to the letter. If you're good with these, then download, edit, and mail. I believe that if they get hundreds of thousands of letters, we, the people, will get their attention. Okay, and now I'm going to read the letter to you so that you know what you will be sending. And let me know in the comments what you think about it. And also tell me if there's other subjects that you're interested in addressing with them. I mean, there's plenty to go. Okay, so the letter goes to the Honorable Justices of the Supreme Court of the United States, 1 First Street Northeast, Washington, D.C., 20543, regarding a call for constitutional integrity and immediate redress of grave injustices. Dear Honorable Justices, we, the people of the United States, write to you not as partisan actors, but as citizens deeply concerned with the preservation of the Constitution you are sworn to uphold. As the final arbiters of justice and stewards of our Republic's founding principles, you are entrusted with a duty that transcends ideology and demands unwavering fidelity to the rule of law. We are gravely alarmed by two critical matters that undermine public trust in this sacred institution and threaten the constitutional balance of power. One, the refusal to intervene in the case of Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, a man deported in direct defiance of a federal court order, who remains detained in a foreign prison camp despite a ruling that mandated his return. Number two, the executive branch's blatant disregard of judicial authority is not just a separation of powers issue. It is a direct affront to the integrity of the judiciary itself. The court's recent ruling on presidential immunity, which grants dangerously broad protections that risk rendering the office of the presidency immune from legal consequence. This ruling is in direct tension with the intent of the framers, who envisioned a chief executive constrained by checks and balances, not an unaccountable sovereign. As Alexander Hamilton warned in Federalist Number 69, the president is not a monarch and must remain answerable to the law. These decisions or omissions thereof not only erode the principle of equal justice under the law, but they jeopardize the very foundation of our democratic system. The Constitution does not grant unchecked power to any branch of the government, nor does it permit selective adherence to its principles when politically convenient. We urge this court to reconsider the scope of its decisions in matters of executive immunity, reaffirming that no one, not even the president, is above the law. And also to exercise its constitutional authority to compel compliance with lawful judicial orders, including those relating to the wrongful deportation of Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, whose continued detention outside the bounds of legal process is a humanitarian and constitutional crisis. Let history record that when the Republic stood at a precipice, its highest court chose courage over complacency, law over loyalty, and country over party. Restore our faith. Reassert the law. Remember your oath. Respectfully, we the people. And of course, I'll go ahead and sign that. I have posted the link to the template of this letter in the comments. Please edit, print, and mail. And if you don't have a post office near you or don't have the time, you could also go online to www.supremecourt.gov/contact. And you can actually paste the text of this letter there with your credentials. Okay? Our spiritual anchor today is grounding touch. So what we're going to do is we're going to rub our hands together until they're warm, and then we're going to cup the hands over our eyes, okay? And we're just going to breathe. So here we go. It's cold today here, so it's going to take me a little longer. Just do that. And then cup. And just breathe in and say to yourself, I see what is wrong. I believe in change. I see what is wrong. I believe in change. Okay, and fun fact, you can rub your hands together at any time. If you're working on your computer a lot and your eyes get tired, warm up your hands and then cup them over your eyes. It gives them some warmth and relaxation so that the eye can recover, okay? So you can do this at any time. All right, everyone, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share. It doesn't cost you anything and really just makes a world of difference in building this community. And until the next time, this is When the Shift Hits, and the shift starts with you. Because when you shift, so does everything around you.